Hey, and welcome to Chicago Coffee Pass. we
That escalated quickly.
yeah, we're changing it up here. We don't just drink beer. Oftentimes, coffee is in beer,
It is.
or in this case, beer is in coffee.
Yeah.
In a sense. So
I like it. Like it. And we probably drink coffee. Probably drink coffee more.
maybe, yeah,
I definitely have non-drinking days for beer.
just doing coffee.
I don't have non coffees. There's
There's
all,
never a day you don't have coffee. Okay.
all bets are off. I'm always drinking
Okay,
coffee.
makes sense. So we were talking on the last episode of Chicago Beer Pass about the Dark Matter 10th anniversary party,
Yes.
and then previously, I don't know, a few weeks ago, you mentioned these saison yeast coffee and the citra hop coffee, and I was like, you know what, we gotta do this. We gotta break this down, talk about it.
Yeah. First of all, I'm excited that you decided to have them on the show because I know you're a huge coffee head.
Yeah,
You know?
but I also don't necessarily like all the barrel aged. I like the coffee flavors and the fruitiness and the nuttiness, and when you start to add some of that other stuff,
Yeah. You're more of a traditionalist. The one
Yeah.
thing I noticed at Dark Lord Day when they sold coffee, it's like a geisha blend. The Dark Matter guys,
Yeah.
they were there just you buy a mug, you get free coffee. Yeah, they were just serving it black.
okay, yeah,
And I could appreciate that because they're like, listen, man, just try it in its just try it as natural state. Just try it.
yeah.
So
So yeah, we're drinking this coffee black because I also don't have any milk at the office because I don't use it. So
but you did inspire me to start using the ginger.
Yeah.
The dried ginger.
it's a good way
The
to.
first time I tried it with all I had was the raw ginger.
Yeah,
So I shaved it off, and I'm like, this is the worst. Every bite, every time I sip, it's like stuck in my face.
okay.
But the dried ginger.
Dried ginger. I did the raw ginger. I cut up
Yeah?
little slices and you throw them in there, and so not bad.
That's
But I haven't,
another.
I haven't done it in a long time.
Okay.
But weaned me off of sugar and milk in your coffee.
Yeah, you don't eat milk, man. It took me a long time to come around to that. So
Yeah. But yeah, we're trying these different variations from Dark Matter. They're both Guatemalan coffees from the same place and everything, but one is fermented with saison yeast. That's the one we have in our cups right now.
okay.
And the one still in the French press right now is fermented with citra hops. You've already been sipping on the saison one. Are you getting anything from it? Anything different? Noticing anything?
Yeah, man, right away, man.
Yeah. I haven't even tried it. This is the first time opening these bags, so I haven't even dived into them before.
I'm just surprised at how accessible it is without anything added to it.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised at that.
You get almost, I want to say like a silkiness to it. That's kind of weird. Not weird in a bad way, but just weird in an interesting way. It's kind of,
Yeah.
the mouthfeel feels thicker than your normal coffee.
I mean, it's lighter, and then like it plays more into an herbal tea. It's somewhere between herbal tea and like a traditional cup of coffee, which I really dig.
Yeah, I might have possibly used a little more water to coffee ratio because I'm not necessarily hitting up the scale. I'm kind of guessing. I usually end up brewing my French presses very strong, and at the bottom of the cup you'll have grounds and I don't know, mud basically.
No, yeah, it's true. Yeah, especially at the end of every cup. That's what
Yeah.
I get when you use too much, when you use too many beans. But what I've found interesting when you read about the fermented with saison yeast coffees is that they were kind of saying, hey, like in beer, obviously, yeast is essential to actually the finished product, but in coffee, it's not necessarily as essential, but what it does is it breaks down, it breaks down the pulp on the berry
Oh,
a
okay.
little faster, but then it also leaves like that really wonderful, whatever yeast you're using, it leaves those aromatics or it leaves that flavor, after it's done doing its thing, ripping off the fruit so you can get to the
Okay.
bean.
Interesting.
So.
I don't get anything different in the aroma
Should we
there from it, but
should we cup it like they do in the And the old Intelli VCS videos are all like, all you hear is this.
Right. You get more. I did a cupping session one time.
Okay.
You get a little more like
Is there like
because you're getting more air with it, so it's gonna open it up more.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Almost like the wine guys who some of these old you go to some of these old wineries, you have dinner with them, and they open the wine like the night before.
Right.
Right.
You gotta air it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then we have the citra hop version here.
Oh, right on.
We're just gonna dirty lots of cups today.
The loose keys club, man. Mm-hmm. It's a good look.
So again, in the French press, I'd say this one's not as silky smooth tasting. It has a bit more bite to it. It's also a little warmer at the moment, so it's hard to say there.
I had one of their Citra Hop ones in a can last week when I was,
Okay.
coming down Belmont super
So
slow.
it was iced coffee?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I
They
didn't know
six pack, naked cans with a sticker, and it was a Citra Hop.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I just hit it with a little milk in it over ice in a tall glass, and yeah, it was bizarre how much it kind of reminded you of like,
Beer?
yeah, just hoppiness. It was like it just kind of tickled you with a fruity hoppy note, which was kind of funny to me because I didn't think I would taste it at all.
Okay.
And I'm like, God damn it.
Now I need a beer. And I think that's exactly what this one's doing. It has that little bit of piney fruitiness there at the end. It's definitely not overpowering or anything. It doesn't taste like you're drinking beer. It doesn't, or a coffee that you put a hop in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get like more melon and more like and like Currant. That's what I get off of this one more so than off that one, where it was just more like it just reminded me more of like an herbal tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said on here that they use top pellets because they are much more potent than the flour version, which is typically used for brewing because you get more of the freshness from it. But pellets have more potency in it, so you kind of get that into it. Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder who else in the coffee world is doing this type of thing.
Is experimenting with beer and
coffee. Because
coffee.
they're like, hey, we don't need to use yeast in our product. However, let's use it because we want those flavors. And then, we're dry hopping it because we're trying to add like another dimension. This is all new for me. Like I've never heard of it. It's still kind of wacky to even just think about.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of cool, man.
Yeah. So usually every year at Dark Matter around Christmas, they usually have a barrel aged or a bourbon barrel coffee sampler you can get.
Yeah.
And that is the way I recommend trying bourbon barrel aged coffee. Because you kind of want it in smaller doses. Because if you make a whole French press that you're kind of kicking off your day with, it's kind of rough. Like it's almost an afternoon or evening coffee because 9 a.m. often the last thing you want to smell is bourbon.
You're right. I bought a couple bags of Bloodlord, which was the it was the barrel aged. It's basically barrel aged unicorn blood, and bourbon's the most distinct flavor I can get when I'm trying these types of coffees, right? Like, so let's just strip away just traditional coffee, no beer ingredients, right? They kind of, for me, it's kind of like the two sides are, kind of like bitter chocolate and peanut butter, or on the other side where it's kind of like these cherry and kind of fruit notes, right? Yeah. And then, so when I had the bourbon barrel aged one, it immediately comes right out the right fruits amplified.
Yeah.
Right. And then the aroma, it's a lot more aromatic. Right. That was the barrel aged one. But other than that one, the subtle nuances of these are a little harder for me to pick up.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not always looking for them.
And I think that's good. That's something you kind of want in your coffee. A lot of the time, I don't think you want to think about your coffee very much.
Yeah.
Not to say that you shouldn't, just coffee is sometimes more of a means to the end than beer is. We often talk about like what's happening in this, but sometimes you do want a beer that's just like, I'm thirsty. And coffee is a lot of the time like I want that pick me up.
It's
So
like, yeah.
you don't want too much overpoweringness, I think, in your coffee because you
I
have
think
to
you're right.
think about it too much.
So, I mean, what I like about this episode is that it's really challenging me to kind of dial into some of these flavors that are just kind of like a little below the surface. You know, it's kind of forcing you to, just channel in and try to find those a little bit more.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
I think if I was to pick one of these, if I was at Dark Matter, I would go Saison yeast coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. This has a fun, like, kind of I don't know, like you said, piney, like spruce tips, kind of, like grapefruit, all those kind of mid palate notes in that one. This one is more my speed.
Yeah.
This first one, yeah, just the Saison yeast.
Cool. Well, we'll be back with more videos here soon about beer or maybe coffee if you like this. So leave us a comment if you're liking the coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
All right, take care.
Cheers.